when you approach ML and AI in any customer solution or problem, you're not thinking about a silo. I think you all just touched on it in the keynote. You're thinking about the entire customer journey. So I'll give you an example. I led ML and AI at Chase, JP Morgan and Chase, prior to going to AWS. I was head of AI and ML for the Consumer and Community Bank, which is the largest line of business for Chase and the most old and antiquated line of business for Chase. So just, we serve more households globally, or they serve more households and globally, and yet the backbone was not modernized. And yet we wanted to transform and have ML and AI at the core of everything we did. And my predecessor had approached it in trying to just solve everything with ML and AI. And I joined during the pandemic, and I said, what's important to the customers right now? One, they can't go into a branch, so service virtually is supreme right now. How do we make sure customers don't call into a call center and sit on hold for minutes to hours at a time? As when the pandemic first started, that's what was happening for financial institutions, especially credit cards, travel, et cetera. How do we prevent fraud? We knew that fraud was going to increase during the pandemic. So how do we build solutions that predict and prevent fraud to mitigate households going through even more stress? And then last but not least, how do we cross-sell in a meaningful way that it doesn't just impact our bottom line, but it helps the customers? How do we try to predict what they need? And so we were laser focused on 3 distinct areas that we knew during the pandemic were pivotal for customers, and we doubled down there. You all talked about data. One of the longest straws in that process was data. We hadn't thought about the data we needed to curate. We hadn't thought about where the data lived, on-prem, private cloud, physical infrastructure versus the public cloud. So we had to think about data curation, data consumption, and where it lived. And then if we didn't need the data, why were we holding on to it, which was an unnecessary expense? So we went through this journey of really thinking about how to solve this for customers in a very intentional way where ML and AI could add value, not just because it was a cool thing to do.